Okay, Algebra 1, Module 4, Lesson 12, Completing the Square. This is the second day of completing the square. And we've got to complete this square. AX squared plus x plus 3. Now, you need to know that that a is not squared. For that a to have been squared, ax would have needed to be in parentheses, correct? So, how do we do this problem? Anybody want to help me? Walk me through it from the video. Give me something, even if it's wrong. What do you think? Yeah. So we're going to divide by a, but we're only going to do it to the first two terms. So we're going to factor out a, maybe. Let me refresh here and see if that works. Okay. Factor out an a, and we're only going to do it to the first two terms, and we're just going to leave plus 3 alone. Now, if we factor out an a from ax squared, what's left? X squared plus, how do we factor out an a from x? How can we do that? Okay, x over a will work. You're correct. That's exactly what it is. But to make it easier, let's call it 1 over ax. If we multiply a times 1 over a, that is 1, right? So let's call it 1 over ax. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is square the parentheses, and we're going to subtract this. Well, we still have to divide by 2 and then square it. But we're only doing this term here. Okay? That's what we're adding to the problem. And that's what we're subtracting the problem. Okay? Everybody ready? So this would be a x squared plus, if I half that, what does that become? 1 over 2ax. Oops, I didn't want to put this square here. Now, if I squared that, I can put this square to the outside. Okay? Because I've got x plus 1/2 ax squared. Yep, we got to add a little step here. But we're still dividing by 2 and still squaring it. And we're just changing the order. Now we still have our plus 3. Actually, let's move that to the very end like we're used to doing. Okay? But we need our minus. Okay? Minus what? What are we going to subtract here? Okay, we don't want to worry about our x in this case. Okay, squared. So what is that? 1 over 4a. Right? Okay. Don't worry about the variables. We're still just worrying with that middle coefficient, right? That's the only thing. Think about yesterday. All we did was half that coefficient and square it, right? We didn't care about what was behind it or anything. Okay? Are we good? Is that? That's all we can do, actually. That is it. That's all you can do on it. A little bit more complicated. All right. So let's look at number 2. It says, write the expression for the profit P in terms of Q. Q is, of course, the quantity sold, and S is the selling price based on the data collected below on sales and prices. Use the example and your notes from class to then determine the function that represents yearly profit as P in terms of sales S, given the production cost per item is $30. So it's going to cost $30 to make these. Okay? So how are we going to come up with P? P is equal to what? How can we come up with an equation to tell us how much profit we're going to make? We already know how much it costs, right? What does it cost? What does it cost to make them? Okay. So 30 what? $30, okay. But what do you mean by that? Can I just subtract 30? Okay, so each what? Is that going to be what variable? Q. So let's put that over here. We know we've got to subtract 30 Q, depending on however many we have. So now then, how do you normally find how much money you make off of something? You would do what? S times what? S times what? Q. So normally you would just have S times Q, right? And that's going to tell you how much money you make, but then you got to subtract how much it cost you. Correct? Are we good? Everybody good with that? So now then, notice that it says 800 as a selling price gives you a quantity of sold of 0. That's kind of weird. 100 selling price gives you a quantity of 700. Okay? How's that going to work out? What does that mean by all that? Faith? Okay, the lower the selling price, the more we're going to sell. Okay? But think about this. Would you rather sell 100 or would you rather sell 7,000 at $100 a piece? Or would you rather sell 2,000 at $600 a piece? You got to figure all that in. Plus, you got to figure out how much it costs you to make those, right? Right? So that's what we're looking at here. Now, if we were to graph this, what would that look like? If we were to graph it, how could we do that? You're telling me like this? So that's going to have a negative slope, right? We're going to have a negative slope. How can we figure that out? Just look at it. So if we were at 0 for selling price, could you tell me where we would be at for quantity sold? If we weren't charging anything to sell it, how much would we sell? How many quantities could we sell? Why 8,000? Come on, come on. Okay, so as we drop the price by 100, we would gain 1,000 more units sold. Does everybody see that? As we drop the price, so in other words, if we look at this, if we add $100, we're going to lose 1,000 units sold. Correct? Okay. So that means if we wanted to set this equal to 0, where Q is 0, what did you just tell me, Kat? Okay. Okay, so since we're dealing with 100, we can say a negative 10. Remember, because it's our slope is negative, right? You just told me that. The slope is going to be negative. So we would say a negative 10 what? S not equals, but plus what? 8,000 units sold would give us Q, right? Oh, I put Q. Sorry. Well, I can't erase it for some reason. Erasers, oh, there we go. Does everybody agree with that? Anybody not? Why is it 10S? What is negative 10S times 100? So negative 1,000 plus 8,000 is 7,000. You see that? If we plug in 100 for S, we get a negative 1,000 plus 800 gives us the quantity sold of 7,000. Do we see this? Are you sure? So if that's equal to Q, now go back and let's work this out. So profit is equal to S. What are we going to plug in for S? We don't know. Times Q, we know Q to be negative 10S plus 8,000. And then we've got a negative 30 times Q again. And Q is negative 10S plus 8,000. Right? Let me try and do something fancy right here and see if I can do this. Probably not, but I'll scroll up. And let's see if I can just move this. I'll move all of that. Nope. I can't do it like that. Let me try this again. So move. Move it over there like that. So now we can work it out. Okay. Let's get back to the rat killing. To the rat killing. Oh, I never heard that. All right, here we go. What's S times a negative 10S? What's S times 8,000? What? See where we have P here? Right? And then see where we solve for Q? We're just plugging Q into that equation. Okay? Now, what's a negative 30 times a negative 10S? What's a negative 30 times 8,000? Negative 240,000? Okay? Now then, that would be our answer, correct? That would give us, oh no, we want to add, we got common terms here, right? Yeah, we got S's, don't we? Okay. So that would be a P is equal to negative 10S squared plus 8,300 S minus 240,000. Okay, so now then, that is our formula to find what? Yearly profit? Is that what you said? Why did you say yearly? Where? Oh, I do see that now. Yearly profit. Okay. Yearly profit. So this all depends on S. And what is S? The selling price. So we're going to figure out how much money we're going to make profit based on the selling price. Now, do you find that to be something that may be valuable in your life?